Rejuvenate, restore, refresh, and heal. At Fantuzzo Acupuncture, we seek to help achieve effective health and wellness in an elegant spa-like atmosphere. Fantuzzo Acupuncture specializes in traditional acupuncture, cosmetic anti-aging acupuncture, acupressure, cupping, CBD topical creams, and more. Approach healthcare holistically. Visit FantuzzoAcupuncture.com to book online today. FantuzzoAcupuncture.com.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right, Taylor, 500 help for all your air conditioning needs. If you want to make sure you are nice and cool this summer, you would definitely want to call Taylor. 500 help. Ask for Jerry. He will set you up. They have everything you need, plus financing plans and even water heaters from Bradford White Water Heaters. Since 1947, Taylor Heating and Plumbing have been responding to all your needs: air conditioning, heating, plumbing, home energy. They have comprehensive maintenance plans, duct cleaning, and financing. So call them, Taylor 500 help. And of course, Precision Lawn and Garden, they take care of all of your yard needs, right? All of your tree needs. If you need a Mac Daddy of all lawnmowers, a zero turn, if you just need a push mower, no big deal. Precision Lawn and Garden, 195 North Avenue in Webster, open weekdays 8 to 5, Saturday 9 to noon. They've been providing Rochester and the surrounding areas professional sales, service, and parts since 1969. They have blowers, they have chainsaws, they have lawn mowers, they have new models, on sale models, all still products, Cub Cadet, Ferris, and Toro. It's Precision Lawn and Garden, where Kimberly and Justin will make sure that you are all taken care of. And if you want your driveway to look fantastic, Express Sealers. Nothing makes your curb appeal look better than a freshly sealed driveway. And the guys at Express Sealers, they're the best. They're not one of those door knockers. They use thick, professional, hand-applied commercial-grade seal coat. They're not there to rip you off. They're there to do a great job and make your driveway the envy of the neighborhood, of course. So call today, 645-2010. That's 645-2010. And we support our advertisers. We hope that you support our advertisers so they can continue to support the We the People Podcast Network. We need them, and we need you to support them as well.
Live from the We the People broadcast studio in chilly, cloudy, 64-degree Irondequoit, New York. Here's the host with the most, Kimberly.
Woo-hoo! Happy hump day to everyone. It's Wednesday.
Hump day. Hey, Mike.
We got Mike in studio. Mike. Yeah, we do. All right. It is the Kimberly's Revolution show, of course, with Chad Hummel and Just Tom on the We the People Podcast Network. And I've got so a patriot got a hold of me and said, I've got something for you.
Who was it, like Paul Revere?
So Lisa, Patriot Lisa, who lives in my neighborhood, got me this shirt today. We the people like to party. So it's a We the People like to party.
Does it say anything on the inside of the shirt?
It's I don't know what you mean by that. So we the people.
Sure.
So thank you. You know, our patriots are always looking out for us, always, making sure that we have, great decorations in the We the People podcast studio. Who brought you the selfie stick?
Michelle did.
Michelle. Yay.
So yesterday when I was downtown, filming like a sideline reporter, I was filming a live event downtown, and I mentioned that it would be nice if the We the People podcast studio would invest in some halfway decent equipment, so I don't have to stand there for an hour and hold my phone up, right? And I mentioned I wanted something like this. I didn't even know what the hell it was called,
and she got it for you.
Michelle showed up at the office about an hour ago with
Thanks,
with
Michelle.
a selfie. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you, Patriot Michelle, and thank you to Patriot Lisa. We appreciate that on the We the People Podcast Network, where, we are growing and growing leaps and bounds. Jose Pio, a city councilman. Marcus is on the Marcus Williams is on the podcast network. Of course, Matt Fritz, Chad Hummel is on the We the People Podcast Network.
Kimberly's Revolution.
Kimberly's Revolution. And of course,
Austin has a show.
We are growing leaps and bounds. And of course, someone's already saying hi to Mike today. So we have Mike Santola in the studio, the We the People Podcast studio, brought to you by Fitz at Rockvox Productions. We appreciate Fitz at Rockvox Productions. He's over there in Bushnell's Basin. If you're thinking about putting together a podcast, and you've got some buddies or friends at work, or maybe your work marketing organization wants to do a podcast, of course, Fitz can help you with that. And he's also a movie maker too. So he's like all talents in one.
Right.
I reached out to Mike Santola, who owns All Star Tactical. It's a gun shop. It is the gun shop. It is the major gun shop in Monroe County. And I said, these rules for guns in Cuomo, I'm out of my mind. And Mike, I've known Mike for a couple of years. He was on my previous radio show. So I invited him to come to the We the People podcast.
What happened to that
network.
radio show?
And I was canceled. I was canceled. So Mike is here.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey, Mike, welcome.
Thank you.
Kimberlina, before we get going, I have an update.
Yeah.
We have solved the mayor-elect's umbrella caper.
Where's the umbrella?
I have it with me.
Malik Evans
Malik
was.
Evans.
Did you go into my truck?
Umbrella.
Where,
I did.
Where did you find it?
Son of a gun.
Mr. Hummel needs explaining to do.
Did you take the mayor to be's umbrella?
I think I'm going to face my second misdemeanor charge in 90 days from the criminal authorities.
Yeah, really?
I borrowed it for a few days. It was raining.
Did you know that it was the soon-to-be mayor's?
My attorney advised me not to answer that question.
Okay, fantastic.
So,
He's stealing crap.
because I didn't know that Mr. Hummel decided to borrow the mayor-elect's umbrella,
Borrow, correct.
I
Borrow.
went out and bought one for him.
Oh,
So
for
I've
God's
got a
sakes.
nice fancy umbrella for
Nice.
the new mayor.
That's nice.
So I hope he appreciates it.
It was just a primary.
We'll have Jose get it to him.
Everyone's saying welcome to Mike. So welcome, Mike. Cuomo is scary AF. He absolutely is. And the name of the today's show is the 7-point problem. The 7-point problem, because Cuomo's plan is a 7-point plan. It doesn't even matter what the points are, because you already know they're ridiculous, right? I just want to know, Mike Santola, how many law-abiding gang members come into your shop with licenses and are able to buy a gun?
Ouch.
I want to know.
It's a serious question.
It is a serious question. How many law-abiding gang members from inner city Rochester come into your shop and are able to buy a gun because they check out?
I don't think I know of any law-abiding gang members.
Really? You don't know any of them?
I'm not. I think being in a gang makes you not law-abiding.
Yeah. Really? I don't know where the
This is a
feedback
gang.
coming.
This is the We the People podcast.
Is that
gang.
coming from your phone? You've got it. You got to turn that off.
Oops. My
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
It's like calling in from the car.
Because, one of the points in Governor Cuomo's, plan, you have to turn it off.
I don't know what it's doing. Sorry.
One of the points in Governor Cuomo's plan is he wants to take guns out of, violent criminals' hands.
Yeah.
Easy?
Probably not.
Because generally the majority of people who have guns and come into your shop are good law-abiding citizens, right?
Absolutely.
For the most part.
Yeah, we're the last line of defense, whether it's we run the standard national background check, but at the same time we have the right to deny anybody for business.
And you do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, do you have like a sixth sense? You have, that something, you got a radar for, I don't know, something doesn't smell right when someone comes into your shop?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you can get a feel for a person just talking to them. And the biggest thing we try and stop are straw purchases, which is when you send somebody in to buy it for you, but people think that they're putting one over on you, and it's so obvious. It's like when you have somebody walking in and they're constantly looking at the person next to them with every question you're asking them, but they know nothing about what they're even there for.
Oh boy.
It's super obvious. So
what do you say to them?
Get out.
Yeah. And you know what? I've got a feeling that they do, because I mean,
if Michael says get out, I think you're leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't mess with them.
No, I mean, they'd have a bad day.
Yeah.
I've seen the guys in Mike's store, and if I was telling somebody the last time I was in Mike's store, if the next revolution ever happens, if there's ever a civil war, I want to be somewhere near his store, because I walked in and there was guys in there that were armed to the teeth, looking ready to go, looking the way they should, playing the part, looking the part, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And that's just what we let you guys see.
Exactly. They didn't let me through the back door. Right?
So All Star Tactical is on Ridgeway, right? You have a second location?
We have a location in Macedon, and 2 months ago, we just closed on a brand new 7,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Gates.
Wow.
Wow. That is
Congratulations.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is, how are you getting past, the gun haters in the state of New York and able to get something like that accomplished. That speaks volumes about your business.
Yeah, we're asked time and time again, why didn't you move out? Why didn't you move? And it's like, you feel like you're abandoning the people here that are law abiding. And so we do whatever we can to support them.
Absolutely. So it's fun to mention that, Mike has all the scary guys and all the guns at All Star Tactical, and his wife has a dance studio.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And they have, what kind of dog would you think that Mike has?
I'm going to go with a Doberman.
Chihuahua?
Like a, German Shepherd, a Mastiff. He has a wiener dog.
Pit bull.
He has.
I should have worn the shirt I had on yesterday said, I have a little wiener. And it had a picture of a dachshund.
I like this guy a lot, but he has a little, but
things that the rest of us guys don't like to advertise.
That you have a little wiener.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's business been like for you the past year since the pandemic? Because I will tell you that Cuomo and the rest of the crazies, or the Democrats around the country, say that the pandemic is to blame for all the violence and all the shootings. How has your business been during the pandemic?
So we over doubled the revenue from 2019 to 2020. And so pretty much the first week of March when the pandemic hit, we were balls to the wall straight through and still going. And then when we had the riots and everything last year, and people that were live streaming the riots, there were credible threats against our shop.
Yeah.
So, we dealt with it, but we made the best of it, and the short supply raised demand for everything, and it's just been nuts.
I remember I talked to you last year. It was in May. It was right after the riots, and basically you couldn't get any ammo. I mean, you were short on ammo. Yeah,
and it's starting to come back finally, and we're it's slowly coming back. As far as a big part of it was, from what I found out recently, when Remington filed Chapter 11 and they got bought out different pieces of them, they had to go through and get all new licenses. So that took the time. But they kept making ammo, and now it's flooding back into the market.
Mike Santola is here. He's with All Star Tactical. Cameron is asking, and I don't know if you can answer this question. When can you start manufacturing ammunition?
So there's a whole nother license that we would have to get.
Of course there is. It's New York State. How many licenses do you have to have?
It's not even New York State. That would be ATF level. And,
okay.
I don't want the liability of that. It's just that's something I don't really want to get into. But we're actually on the good side. We're actually launching a training company this year.
Oh, you are?
We are. Actually, Derek Playstead.
I do know Derek. Yeah.
So he's actually
I love Derek.
I left him at my Gates building, and he's working. So
I was at his retirement party.
I was there too, but I didn't see it.
I was there early.
Okay.
I was there early. That was a retirement party that I went to a couple of weeks ago, right after I finished here.
Oh yeah.
And I said, we're at an age where now we just go to retirement parties instead of
retirement parties and funerals.
Yeah, right, exactly. My daughter is a police officer, and she needs a little work on the gun side of things, and he's going to train her. Maybe she'll just get trained where you are.
Well, I was about to follow up that Derek is coming on as my director of training.
That's awesome. So that is fantastic.
We have, retired trooper coming on as my director of training, myself,
he's badass.
And an active RPD, and one other guy that'll be our top trainers.
Wow, look at you guys. I mean, so branching out.
Yeah.
So business is good. And I mean, you do have to make sure that you have all your ducks in line, that you are following every rule and regulation, right?
Yeah, it's not as hard as people think, but I've helped plenty of other what we would call kitchen table FFLs. So people that get their federal license just to circumvent SAFE Act, or to just buy and sell with their friends, be able to buy and sell without paying a transfer fee. I've helped plenty of them go through the licensing. It's to this point where when I had the interview with ATF agent for the new building, for the new location. He's like, it took solid 20 minutes. Like, this.
Yeah. You're right.
We've just been through it.
I love that you're getting the new location.
You showed him your Gadsden flag, and he said everything will be fine.
I did.
So, it's how does it make you feel though when you look at the top brass in Albany?
Top ass,
top brass or top ass, whatever. Yeah, exactly. And knowing that they'd like for you to just go away.
Yeah, I'm sure they would like for me.
They would like for you to go away. They want to they want to take away your ability to operate and support your family.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because, we're not like, I would say we are, very different. We're not like Augie's or the shops. Like we are very by the book, to the point where we put up a sign, and I'm all about freedoms, and I consider myself very, socially liberal, fiscally conservative, libertarians.
Of course, right.
But at the same point, we put up a marijuana sign on our door because marijuana is federally illegal. And if you lie on the form, you're perjuring yourself. So we tell people, turn around, but don't even bother, because it's not my decision. It's federally illegal. Right. And stuff like that. Whereas, we could let that stuff slide, but it's not worth my license. It's not worth my livelihood.
Right.
And we do well. We do a lot of work with law enforcement. I built all the guns for Rochester SWAT, and we have a great relationship with Macedon PD, Sheriff County. Todd Baxter is a good friend of mine, and we work well with them, and we give people a tool to help defend themselves.
So yesterday, Governor Cuomo came out and said, we're going to do to gun violence what we did with COVID. And I was really confused about that, Chad, because if he's going to do with gun violence what he did with COVID, does that mean we're going to lock people in all their houses and just let them die? Because that's what he basically did with COVID in the nursing homes, right? I mean, so here we are, 213 people struck by bullets, 35 of them under 18. We're looking at 38 dead from gun violence, right? And he has $139 million in new funding. I don't know where we're getting $139 million to throw at reducing gun violence, right? He says that
he's probably taking federal stimulus money that he got and rediverting it, right?
Right.
It was for COVID.
To what? More police accountability boards?
Exactly.
Where they put, cop haters on the police accountability boards.
Taking guns away.
I mean,
I think if you're going to shoot somebody, you have to be 6 feet away.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, the problem.
Wait a minute.
like
That was
that.
My line, Mike.
For a rookie like me, though, I need to be within 6 feet. So I got a problem.
I just look at
you
that.
just have to wear a mask.
Well, you know what?
Perfect.
He doesn't do that. I mean, he doesn't. So here's what we know. That it's not people out in the suburbs or the country that are creating, or committing these heinous crimes, right? It's basically within a 1 mile radius of certain streets within the cities of Rochester.
100%.
I just want to know, and maybe Mike Santola knows, I don't know. How many of those guns do you think are legal?
0.
None of them are legal. But a point in the 6-point problem, or the 7-point problem, right? 7 points, is he's going to take guns out of criminals' hands.
He's going to number 5. He's going to get
number 5 or number 6?
5 is get illegal guns off the street. Number 6.
Okay.
Number 6, if you're referring to that one, is keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people.
Do dangerous people go around and advertise that they're dangerous people?
Yeah. How do you define
How do you define a dangerous person?
Let me jump in here, because something that Mike said, this is what's incredibly interesting to me. We all know, no matter what the issue is, and we've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of issues that the government tries to address, right? The government always thinks they have the solution.
Yeah.
They never solve a damn thing. They spend money, take away freedoms, and they never solve the problem. What Mike just expressed was that he is actively involved in solving the very problem that the government creates.
Right.
He mentioned training, for example.
Yes.
I was just having this discussion earlier today when I found out Mike was coming on. I was having a discussion with a colleague about the gun culture and the violence culture that comes out of the city and so on and so forth. And the one thing that we both immediately agreed upon would be a possible solution would be a training culture, a culture of guns are okay, guns are good, guns can be lawful, guns can be used for self-defense. And Mike, the owner of a gun shop that we know the government is trying to get rid of, is actually the one. What does the government love to say? Common sense solutions.
Yes.
They love to say common sense solutions.
But
they wouldn't know
nothing is
common
ever that
sense if it hit them in the face.
Of course not.
Mike just expressed the common sense. He is using common sense solutions, training a culture of don't be afraid of this firearm, because people are intimidated by them.
Sure.
Right?
They're intimidated by them if they don't understand them, if they don't know them, if they're not comfortable around them.
100%. Some of the most staunchest defenders of the Second Amendment don't own firearms and are fearful of them because they are powerful weapons. And if you use it improperly, and certainly if you use it unlawfully or immorally, you're going to kill somebody with it.
Right.
And here we are, Mike's training people on how to use a firearm in the proper manner. And our government uses rhetoric like, well, we're just going to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous people. Nowhere in this 7-point plan.
Dangerous people.
Yeah.
What is a dangerous people?
Exactly. Defined by the government.
I think Chad is a dangerous person.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the you go in, you go to buy a gun, you have to do your national background check, NICS check, the National Instant Criminal System. We have plenty of people that have their pistol permit and get delayed or denied, and we've got people that have passed the background check, and then we get a call from the DA's office. They need a copy of it because they menaced somebody. And, fix the system we currently have. So you have people that shouldn't have firearms passing this background check, and you have people that probably should be defending themselves, unable to because they have the same last name as somebody, or they have their one social security number off and from a felon, and it prevents them from purchasing a firearm. And the issue is that we have all these systems in place and they don't work. So fix what we currently have.
Right.
Yeah. How about the SAFE Act? The governor passed the SAFE Act with all this pomp and circumstance in the middle of the night several years ago. And according to Governor Cuomo, that was his grand statutory scheme that was going to fix all the gun violence. It was going to be the end all be all. Right?
No, it made it worse.
Did it work, Andrew?
No, it didn't
Andrew?
make it. No,
because now we need this.
Yes.
Well, if your SAFE Act didn't work and this is going to work, shouldn't we, at a bare minimum, get rid of the SAFE Act?
Get rid of the SAFE Act.
Yeah, if this is going to work, why are we piling on bad legislation with what we know is obviously just rhetoric and spending money? Right?
139 million, which could be spent, in so many different ways. I don't even know what they've got. The 139
on this podcast.
It could be. I don't know what the
could be an advertiser.
$139 million is going to go to stop gangbanger violence in the city, and we know what it is, right? We know exactly what it is. He's called this gun violence a disaster emergency.
It's a joke.
A disaster emergency?
He's sending the money. He's going to target hot spots with science. Well, there's that science thing again. Science. How did science work out for COVID, Andrew, in the nursing homes? What's that?
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens. Exactly.
Right.
Love aliens.
We do. If he weren't so serious about it.
Oh, he's such an asshole.
It would be funny, right? But he's he's legitimately thinks this is a great idea.
He said he was going to spend $57 million to create new summer jobs for people.
Is that going to stop the violence? And
if I was a gangbanger and I had to choose between shooting people or going to work,
right.
Which one would you pick?
Right.
Right.
Maybe I can get a grant and hire some of these people to make machine guns. Then maybe that would make him happy.
Good point.
And that's another thing. You can't hire, people with,
I can't.
No, you can't hire people with shady backgrounds, right?
No.
Right. So you can't.
It eliminates us three.
Eliminate. Well, you have a mugshot, so we know
what
you're
have I
bad. Do we have Chad's mugshot, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Chad was arrested.
I want to see this.
For not wearing a mask.
I didn't deliver it yet.
That's awesome.
You didn't deliver the mugshot?
No.
Come on.
I got arrested on my first date with Erica.
You did? What did you do?
Minister with a firearm.
I had a fake ID.
You had a fake ID?
I was 18.
So you could get booze?
Yeah, of course.
And now he owns a gun shop. Right. See, it's gateway crime.
See, you could turn your life around.
I always knew that chalking the license was gateway crime.
How long you been married to that beautiful woman?
2004.
You put a man on a spot like that on the record. That's terrible.
I know.
I got married in 2004.
I don't need to do the math.
He's got a great memory.
When did you get married?
November 2004.
Okay. What was the date?
Why now? Why are you
I
doing
laughed
it?
over that, so in case you
Why
said it
you
wrong.
Do you guys does she
I was married June 5th.
obviously know how to handle a weapon? Does she know how to shoot? I mean, this is something you guys share.
Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah.
And we find
He's got bullet holes to prove it.
on the training side, we find that women are far better than the male counterparts at firearms, proficiency.
Yeah.
Mainly because typical guy coming in to shoot has a lot of bravado or machismo and is trying to look better than the dude next to him, whereas the girl just wants to come in and learn.
Sure. Yeah.
Open mind.
Right.
Yeah. So, we see that a lot. And
Tom, there's got to be a joke there somewhere.
I know.
couldn't think of it.
Somebody on Facebook is asking the question. They're wondering, hey, Mike, if it's so hard for people to get ammo, how are the gangbangers in the city getting ammo?
that's a great question.
That is a great question.
Mike's got a back door at his shop.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does at all.
Oh.
But you know what this, and I'm not familiar with this part of the city. I mean,
2-day delivery from Amazon.
I've been down Jefferson. I've been down Bartlett. We know where some of these hot spots are. And as we heard, I think
Don't
we
use
have
the governor's rhetoric.
the hot spots. Well, I think we know where some of these areas are, right? I mean, no one.
Yeah, the city of Rochester.
The city of
Let's go with
Rochester and a couple of different. So I think we have. Do we have a little bit from Cuomo? Do we have his?
All right.
Yeah. Let's.
It's movie time.
Yeah, it's movie time.
I always love to hear King Ed.
King Andy, you like him?
Oh.
Violence than of COVID.
What? I missed that.
That was a quick movie.
More people are dying of gun violence than of COVID.
And more people are dying of gun violence than of those old people that I killed in a nursing home.
right.
At this time, the good thing is I didn't kill these people because I don't own a gun.
But the bad thing is it makes all gun owners look like bad people. That's what I can't stand. It looks like it makes people who go and do everything by the book. And these are laws specifically for people like us that do everything right. Yeah. Not the people on the street, because they don't give a rat's ass.
Because there's no such thing as gun violence.
They're not going into Mike Santola's shop.
Correct.
All-Star Tactical. They're not doing that. They're not doing everything they're supposed to. They're getting guns wherever they're getting guns. And I have no idea.
Criminals are going to criminal.
Correct. Did they go to the commissary and get a permit for the shank?
Of course not. No.
It's just absurd.
Or the razor blade that someone, smuggles
absurd.
into them.
It's absurd.
Do we have any more from King Andy?
We went from one epidemic to another epidemic.
Governor Andrew Cuomo taking several new measures to combat gun violence in New York State, laying out a 7-step plan to tackle what he declares as a public health emergency, just like COVID.
This is not just a criminal justice issue. It's a public health issue. It's a jobs issue. It's a substance abuse issue. And we have to coordinate them all together. And that's what we're going to do in New York State. The way COVID discriminated, gun violence discriminates.
What the hell did he just say?
He said, like COVID discriminates, gun violence also discriminates.
How?
The way COVID discriminated, gun violence discriminates.
There you go.
I'm glad he said that because that raised an issue that I wanted to talk about.
Uh-oh.
The
headphones are coming off.
Coming off, Mike.
And that's so when you shoot the gun, you don't hurt your ears.
Right. That's what they tell us.
Those are earmuffs.
Right. Exactly.
So why don't guns kill in rural New York State? I mean, if we were to draw, you mentioned a radius. If we were to draw a circle, a 1 mile radius around the city of Rochester, hotspot, right? We create that hotspot. Let's also draw a corresponding 1 mile radius somewhere in Steuben County. Are there more guns in that circle in Steuben County?
Oh, yeah.
Or are there more guns in the circle around Hudson and Joseph and North Clinton?
I don't know.
There's probably way more guns in Steuben County.
I would say so. Wouldn't you say so?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm a
why aren't
woman,
those guns killing people?
I
so
don't
maybe
know.
Andrew's right. Maybe there's some sort of discrimination. What's the discrimination then? Maybe it's the culture. Maybe it's the lack of education. Maybe it's the lack of jobs. Mm-hmm. Of course, fostered by the government. The government always creates the problems and then offers you the crutches and the solutions.
Right.
So the government first impoverishes people on 7 generations of institutional slavery, welfare. And then when there's teenagers running around without jobs selling drugs, and joining gangs
at 14 and 13 years old,
shooting each other.
Right.
They call it gun violence?
Yes.
And I got to listen to that horse shit?
It's all bullshit, really.
Why isn't there gun violence in Steuben County? Answer that, Andrew.
It's a very good question.
Answer that.
Well, he is not going to answer that. I think do we have Todd Baxter
in studio
talking about the gun violence, the sheriff of Monroe County?
We're all very familiar with the scourge of violence in the city of Rochester, the horrific violence. We have kids with AK-47s, AR-15s, doing daytime assassinations, utilizing team tactics. We've never seen anything like that. We've seen many years, probably with higher homicides, but we haven't seen the proliferation of violence with assault weapons, large caliber weapons using team tactics, broad daylight, assassination of a mother with 2 kids in her car. We all know that's unacceptable. I'm not here to reiterate that, but what are we doing as a community? Obviously, we're here first to support the city of Rochester and the city of Rochester Police Department, who are noble, who are honorable, and are doing an awesome job. But what can we do as supporting cast to support them and support the citizens of Rochester? What we offer you is what we call precision policing and omnipresence. Those are some of the things that we can do. We can help out with precision policing and go strategically and surgically at the people we know carrying guns and for committing this violence. And we're here to help the Rochester Police Department in that endeavor. And we'll share that with you in details. And a thing called omnipresence. We can put as many police cars in the city of Rochester as possible with a sense of providing security and peace to communities that are going through turmoil. We don't want to be the occupying force. We want to be the helping hand. We want to be there to respond to the next shooting with sufficient resources to make an apprehension and grab these bad guys as quick as possible and take them where they need to be, and that's the Monroe County Jail.
So my question to Mike Santola at All Star Tactical basically is this: if these kids in the streets have ARs and AKs, how much are those running in your store right now? If I were to come into your store and say to you, hey, I'd like an AR-15,
minimum $700.
$700
going up from there.
And you just heard Monroe County, Sheriff Todd Baxter
I'll take 2.
say in this area, these are what the kids are using all across the country. These are common. Where are they getting them? I
think it's odd that this one event seems to be few and far between. It's the majority of gun violence, if you want to say it, in the city is with handguns. It's we speak all the time with the police, and it's very atypical to have a rifle, especially in so-called assault rifle, used in a crime such as that.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said so-called assault rifle, because
assault rifles do exist,
yeah,
but they're fully automatic.
Yeah,
not fully semi-automatic.
I don't know you, but I sense that that's not a term that you probably just like to have thrown around when people just say assault rifle. It creates this misconception, etc.
It is, because a true assault rifle would be a fully automatic rifle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and this is my message to all of the actual law-abiding gun owners out there: stop fighting over semantics.
Right, it is.
Like, if whether somebody calls it a silencer or a rifle or gets it wrong, stop fighting amongst each other, because we look ridiculous. And we make ourselves look bad. So
I agree with that.
Do you know what I got out of that whole thing? They're taking city taxpayer dollars that's going to go from the police to the accountability board. And now we're going to take county taxpayer dollars and move them into the city to pay for city policing through the county sheriffs. So now county taxpayers are going to pay to police the city.
Because the city took their money out of the mix.
That's what I just got out of that.
That's a good point.
I thought we were supposed to defund them.
Well, right?
Or just divert them.
You wonder why we're in this, hot mess.
All right, I'm putting my sunglasses on.
You want to know why the city and the country is in the hot mess that we are in? It's because, King Andy and all of his Democratic, minions have done the best they can over the last 4 to 5 years to completely
create this problem,
create this issue, right? Yeah. I mean, they have done nothing
bail reform,
but create the issue that we're dealing with right now. They have tried to, basically take legal gun owners, make them look the bad guys, and put guns in the criminals' hands in the middle of, downtown Rochester. I mean, there's a million other things. There's, the bail for violent criminals. There's, no punishment for, petty criminals, all of the shoplifting, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's crazy.
Can we quickly go over point number 7?
Defunding the police.
On
Exactly.
King Asshole's plan?
Quickly?
Yeah.
Quick. Zip it. Point number 7. I want somebody to explain this one to me and how this is going to fix the gun problem. Rebuild community police relationships. Even let's assume for a minute that that's something that we should be working on.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, who created that problem? The government. People like Andrew Cuomo and his minions who run around marginalizing the police.
Dismantling the criminal justice system.
Dismantling the system.
For lack of a better.
And then they come back with, we want to rebuild community police relationships. If there's a gun violence problem,
there's no rebuilding that police relationship.
How is rebuilding the relationship between the community and the police going to solve a gun violence problem?
It's all the Black Lives Matter rhetoric that's been going on for the last years.
If drug dealers are going to shoot out each other in a turf war, and then on the other corner, there's a group that are bringing the police and the kids together. Where's the correlation between those two? And Cuomo said, his own words were, we're going to stop the rhetoric and fix the problem. This is all rhetoric.
It's all rhetoric.
It's all rhetoric.
If anything, it's a long-term solution, because if they are going to try and develop this better relationship with kids and the police or kids in the community, you're talking 10 years from now is when it'll actually come to fruition.
100%. It takes a generation to bridge that gap.
Of course, they also said that 10 years ago, Mike.
Yeah, right.
And
look,
how did that work out?
Yeah, it's not.
It's unbelievable. It really is.
We have a respect issue. We have a
100%
just society. We just we're all selfish, and people don't respect other people or their stuff.
Right. Well, that, and the fact that they're fighting for for space to sell drugs.
It's drugs,
right? And you're not going to get rid of drugs. We know that. Don't do drugs. From 1980, from the Reagans, right? That's not going to happen.
Well, how did the mob operate? I mean, isn't this similar?
Are you asking me that because I'm Italian?
do we need to tell Mike who I am?
Yes, we are.
I wasn't looking at you. I know you have your headset on and can hear everything I say. but no, seriously though, I mean, this is a drug turf war, right?
Right.
You take my drugs, you kill my sister, you sleep with my boyfriend. We're going to exact revenge upon you.
That's what they do.
I mean, have you seen Goodfellas? Have you seen The Godfather? Have you seen
this is different than
Casino?
that. Casino. This is different.
It's not. It really isn't.
It is.
No, it's not. And I'll explain why. No, you know what? You tell me why it's not.
You
said it's
there
not.
are different ethics. There are different
Murder's murder. Look,
okay.
Yeah, but they wear suits.
I'm sorry, they wore suits. Exactly.
Exactly. And snazzy dressers.
And that's why it was okay to make a movie, right? I mean, you want to throw up when you watch the mob movies.
Yeah.
I mean, they sawed each other's legs off and buried each other in shallow graves. Is that any different than taking
let
a
body
ride?
Be found in the middle of Jefferson Ave, right?
Is that any different than hauling down Hudson Avenue in a Honda with the windows rolled down,
and
spraying bullets into a park? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's unconscionable murder with your weapon of choice over a turf war.
Right.
And that's what the mob
weapon,
had.
by the way,
mob had turf wars.
That's not legal. See, that's my whole.
I don't buy the whole legal, illegal. I mean, this is just my take, and I imagine we agree. We're just using different words.
Right.
And this is, I think, goes to Mike's point about semantics. And that is that this is, in my opinion, there's no such thing as an illegal gun, because the Second Amendment exists. It's black and white. And it says our rights to bear arms shall not be infringed upon.
Mm-hmm.
End of story.
Okay.
Therefore, the gun is just an inanimate object. And to my example of Steuben County that I used, the guns in Steuben County aren't illegal or illegal. They just don't get used to murder people. They get used for their intended purposes. The exact same guns in the exact same volume exist on Hudson and Joseph in North Clinton right now and on Jefferson. And they get used by a culture where it's acceptable to use in an immoral way. It's the behavior of the person with the gun in their hand. End of story. I don't know. I don't even know what an illegal gun is. I really don't.
But the goal of Cuomo and the rest of his ilk across the country, is to take the guns away. But that's not working in Chicago, right? Don't they have? No. I mean, what are the gun laws in Chicago?
They're the worst. Some of the worst in the nation,
right?
So, I mean, we have some of the worst gun laws in the nation, and we're still have issues,
right? We're still killing people right and left. There were over 100 people shot in Chicago over the weekend, over the July 4th, weekend, Mike, and the mayor of Chicago blames COVID and blames neighboring states for people being able to get guns.
Yes, we had 18 shootings last Friday in the city of Rochester and 2 homicides. What happened there?
Unreal.
Crazy scary.
Here's to your point. Here's part of the article from Cuomo. It says a new state police gun trafficking interdiction unit was announced. The group's main purpose will be to stop illegal guns. Again, to me, that's just a made up thing. Illegal guns from coming into New York from states with weak gun safety laws. What does that mean? And where does that take us? Weak gun safety laws? Is he referring to Texas?
No, because that I don't know. I don't know where.
What are the states? What are the states, according to Andrew Cuomo, that have weak gun safety laws
that border us?
And how are those weak gun safety laws? How do they?
What's a weak gun safety law?
That's what I'm saying. It's a law that hasn't taken it away yet. It's a law that hasn't completely confiscated all of our guns yet. Mm-hmm. And he's comparing it to COVID. Well, pretty soon they're going to go door to door to look for people to vaccinate. And pretty soon, if you just take him at his word, what he should do is just go door to door in the inner city where he claims there's all this gun violence and all these dangerous weapons, and he should just take all their guns. Mm-hmm. Why can't he just be transparent? Andrew Cuomo, I am going to create a task force with $138 million, and I'm going to march up and down Hudson and Joseph, and I'm going to knock on the door, and I'm going to confiscate guns. Then there won't be any more gun violence in the city. Problem solved, no? Why not? Why not?
No.
Why not ACLU? Why not NAACP? The
problem won't be solved at all. Because isn't it, I mean, and we've said this for years, it's always the bad guys that are going to get the guns, right?
Sure. I mean, you could walk into Home Depot and build yourself a gun in about 15 minutes.
You can?
Yeah.
How do you do it? You're on the record, just so you know.
Pipe and a nail.
There you go. I mean, did you grow up around
Where were
guns?
you on January 6th?
Yeah. Fun fact, I didn't. I didn't even look this cool when I was younger.
How many tattoos does Mike Santillo have?
I count in hours, not amounts now.
You count in hours?
It's like a boat. How many hours are on it, not miles?
What was your first tattoo?
I have a scorpion on my back.
Are you a Scorpio?
I am a Scorpio.
Oh, I am too. I have a scorpion on my leg.
This was a setup.
It was a total setup. Mike Santola from All Star Tactical is here, and he is this, expanding. Obviously, business is good for guys like him. I mean, you have to haul ass just to keep up with all the rules and regulations. We had you on today because of this whole Cuomo thing, and we're glad you're here. We also thank our sponsors, Fantuzzo's Acupuncture and Taylor Heating and Cooling, also Precision Lawn and Garden and Express Sealers. They support us, and we hope that all of our patriots on the We the People Podcast Network support our advertisers, because we couldn't do the show and talk to cool guys like Mike Santolo without, some advertising dollars. So we appreciate it. So you didn't grow up around guns. How did you get involved with, the lifestyle that you
pipe
have?
Bombs.
I right out of college, I worked for IBM, and I was traveling the country doing network security, and I was on a project for Husqvarna in Augusta, Georgia, and I was fly there Monday, fly home Friday, rinse and repeat for a year. So I was bored during the week, and up the street there was a shooting range that you could rent guns, and I went there and I rented a fully automatic gun, and the rest is history. Fell in love.
So that was an assault weapon then?
Yes.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm learning.
You are learning.
I believe anything you use to assault somebody
is
an assault.
Thank you.
Right?
That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all assault weapons.
Of course.
I mean, exactly. What is it if you're not trying to hurt somebody with it? Then what is it?
I mean, you bought ammo from Mike. You have guns, right?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Just 2.
See, no one needs to know.
In the building.
What do you say when people ask you how many guns you have at home? Is it like
business.
Asking you if you've had the COVID vaccination?
It's like asking how many tattoos you have.
I mean,
well, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I got no reason not to tell people. It's I'm very, very open with it.
736.
Maybe. We have lots. We hold our machine gun shoots and all kinds of stuff, so I lost count.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
You lost count.
Technically, all the guns at the shop are mine. So
of course,
there you go.
Of course. I mean, but I view that when someone asks me, I'm like, it's none of your business.
He's like Wilt Chamberlain. He lost count.
Someone asked me, if you've got the COVID vaccination, it's none of your business. It's like asking someone, when was your last gynecology?
It's like asking a woman when the last time she had an abortion.
I don't think it's anybody. Yeah, well, sort of, not really along
Tom,
those
I
lines.
told you that was a bad joke.
No, it was not really along the lines of that. But
Tom writes all my material.
Yeah, there is
for the record.
You guys are crazy.
I know.
You guys are completely crazy. But you know what I love too when you guys were talking about semantics, because the current police chief, the acting police chief, she basically says,
Cynthia Harriet
Sullivan said that people believe that guns are driving the violence, which I think we know for a fact that
it's so absurd.
That the guns are not driving the violence, that the people in the city that are involved with illegal activity are driving the violence. It's not guns at all, right?
It's a culture to them.
It's a culture. But here's what I love. She says you have to decipher whether it's gang involved or gang motivated because it's different. I'm like, is it different?
The bullets hit softer.
It's not different whether it's gang involved or gang motivated.
What does that even mean?
That's the same thing. That is the same thing. 100%, right?
Can I ask Mr. Hummel a quick question?
Uh-oh. How many tattoos do I have?
No, let's go back to what you said earlier, that there are no illegal guns. So if we take that logically to the next step, should we be training illegal gun owners to be more, to defend themselves with them instead of, in other words, it goes back to Mike's point was about respect. You still have to have respect for another human being.
I think you lose your respect when you're already.
If you have a resident in the city that happens to have an illegal gun, and he's not a gang member, he just has that illegal gun to defend himself.
He doesn't have a license for the gun.
Should we be training him to defend himself?
Mike?
What's the answer to that?
So that would be illegal in New York,
right?
In most states, you can purchase a handgun,
constitutional carry.
Many of them, like in Florida, you can purchase a handgun. You need the permit to carry. So they have the ability to defend themselves, just not necessarily carrying it concealed. Most mistakes maybe would be, you could argue to say that accidental or negligent discharges would happen while concealed carrying, not just sitting in your safe at your home.
So in Florida, they can purchase a handgun and essentially keep it at home for home defense.
Correct.
In order to go out of the home with it,
you need a
then that's where the
concealed carry.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm a pretty strict constructionist when it comes to the Second Amendment. So it's hard for me to even entertain the idea that is palatable to me.
Sure.
And it probably only is because of where I live, because of the 100%. Fact of how disgusting our rules are here in New York State, that I would actually look to a law that I would also think is probably unconstitutional, but I would actually accept it.
We've been desensitized to.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been desensitized to gun laws here in New York.
Correct.
Whereas, you grew up in, if you were to grow up in Texas or Arizona where you have constitutional carry, it's, you walk in, you buy the gun, you do your federal background check, you leave with the gun, the end. Whereas here you're jumping through a lot of hoops. We get people that are, scared of what's going on, and they walk in and they say, well, I'd like to buy a handgun. And I have to say, well, do you have a permit? And it's no. And they're like, well, can I get that here? I'm like, well,
if you sit down for about 12 months.
Exactly.
Just wait in the lobby
County
for 12
is
months.
Running 12 to 15 months right now.
Yep.
Is that right?
I heard 15 months right now.
Yeah.
I know.
Why?
Somebody just told me they're on month 15. They make a phone call. They've been told to stop calling back.
And I think it's something like there's 2,000 applicants they have right now, but they can only process like 200 a month or something.
Why is that?
I don't know what the exact numbers
that
are.
sounds like that smells bad to me.
It's probably a staffing issue, I would think. the process is you fill out all your paperwork, you go there, it goes to Albany. Albany does the federal background checks and all that. Then it comes back. Then they call your references. They do the local background check, and then it sits in a pile for 3 months before they actually issue it. So there's no actual efficiency there at all, and they don't care to. They're not pushed to.
Right.
What
I mean, it's like, it's just another person with a gun that we don't want them to have.
Who's higher up than the county clerk or the county legislators? Well, Cuomo, and he doesn't give a shit. He would say take 5 years to get your gun.
Can
I say that here?
Yeah, of course.
You can say whatever you want.
Right.
Yes.
Doesn't give it. So what did
We've
you?
only been the subject of one ethics hearing so far.
I'm used to being on the news and stuff, and I really have to watch what I say.
Yeah. Do you did any of the legislators come talk to you? Do Monroe County Executive? I mean, any of these people ever come talk to you? Mike?
No, the closest was I think one of the news channels came and interviewed me right after Joe Morelli
oh boy,
went on TV or said something about how we need to crack down on gun dealers. And, I'm like, why don't they come talk to me? You want to actually make a difference? Come talk to me, and I will tell you firsthand the best way to do it.
Wait, hold on. So we've already covered this, okay? But when you say things like Joe Morelli on the podcast, it really gets my blood fucking boiling.
I saw.
So I want to cover this topic
at the 4th of July parade.
Oh
you
yeah,
saw him
I saw
at the 4th
jerk
of July
there.
parade.
Yeah.
Here I am in our giant army truck with the Korean war vets.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was you.
The Korean war vets came into the shop. They're like, "Whose truck is that?" And I'm like, "Mine." And they asked if I would. They were going to pay me to drive them. I'm like, no, this is awesome.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because they're old. My dad was a Korean war vet. Yeah.
I mean,
so assholes like Joe Morelli say we are going to crack down on gun dealers. Okay, well, again, let's take them at their word. I love taking these people at their word. We're going to crack down on gun dealers. How about we crack down on the people that are shooting the guns?
Right.
Who's the gun dealer? And then the first question that you asked Mike was, how many gangbangers come into your shop to buy a gun?
None.
So
he said none.
So cracking down on Mike, who is providing people the ability to carry out their Second Amendment constitutional rights, cracking down on him.
We should go after Bob Johnson for drunk drivers then.
100%. How are we taking guns out of, okay, again, let's go to Cuomo's 7-point plan. He wants to keep guns out of hands of dangerous people. Dangerous people are not showing up in droves at Mike Santolo's gun shop, All-Star Tactical, and trying to get guns.
I know.
They're just not.
I hear you.
They're trading them on the street.
I know.
They're stealing them on the street.
Preaching to the choir.
It's unbelievable.
Well, part of what he said too is that he's going to sign into law, allowing lawsuits against gun manufacturers.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so
they know all the tricks.
That's frightening, isn't it?
And round.
It's scary. I have to go out and get higher liability insurance just because of this. Because if I manufacture a rifle and I sell it to somebody,
it gets stolen
or whatever, and it's used in a crime, why would I get sued?
Exactly.
Same idea suing, Maker's Mark for drunk drivers.
Yep. And that's your issue with ammunition, I sensed. When Kimberly asked you about the ammunition earlier, manufacturing it.
It's too much. It's a liability.
Yeah, I immediately thought that
a huge liability.
Yeah, you're going to face that problem.
It's not even being used in a bad spot, but like you make one bullet wrong and somebody's gun blows up, you get a suit left and right.
That's a problem. And I can't imagine,
shitbag lawyers will come after you.
Like you.
What?
No, you're not a shitbag lawyer. I'm just saying lawyers in general.
My lips are moving, aren't they?
So, the question is,
say I kind of am?
they try to put guys like you out of business because they try to make it so expensive.
Sure.
Exactly.
And so much red tape that you can't affordably operate your business in the state of New York. They're constantly trying to add more to your plate as far as new things that you have, new license, you have to have this insurance. I mean, it's nuts.
I mean, to be a gun dealer, you need your federal license, you need your state license, and then you need to follow all your state laws. And, I have to keep records of it for 20 years, even if I close my business.
It's 20 years.
I take that back. I keep it for 20 years, but if I do close my business, I have to turn everything into the ATF.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Again, so you look at this and
then they just sit in the warehouse.
Anyone that you've sold to.
Yeah, all the little background check forms that get printed out.
It's like we have to keep all the records here of all the real estate deals
I don't keep records. You might think I'm keeping them.
That's another hearing for us. Here we go, getting in trouble again. But again, I mean, the reason behind all the violence and the reason, that we even had Mike here in the first place.
Because of the mob.
Is one, because of the last couple of years of Cuomo and his gang trying to, dismantle the criminal justice system. We look at this, cashless bail system and defunding the police and getting rid of the anti-violence crime unit on the RPD. And basically, they want to crack down on crime, but I don't know how they're going to do it because the ranks of the RPD are they're
dwindling.
Slim. Yeah, they're like down to nothing. They have shaved them so thin that there is
something like less than 400 people are taking the test now each time, or way less. Used to be 10,000.
Yeah, they see a liability issue too in their future.
No way to get the job done.
Not taking that call.
And Governor Cuomo has made it so that they can't do their job.
Correct.
You wonder why violence is up in New York City and Buffalo and Rochester. And I don't even think that Buffalo was even mentioned, but Rochester made the national news because it had so many shootings in one particular weekend.
What's even scarier is that ring of carjackings that happened.
Right.
To me, it's like you guys shoot yourselves downtown. I can drive around the city if I have to.
Right. But they're coming out of the city.
Well, now that they're
we're going to get rid of the Interloop though, because that's racist, and then you won't be able to drive around the city anymore.
What would they call the Interloop blog then? They have to call it something else.
Right.
But now
blog.
You're driving that guy at the airport that was shot. And it's like, this guy was just minding his own business, So now if you're
in Gates, right?
That's why I like to arm people and get people to defend themselves. These people aren't going out looking for trouble. All they want is to not deal with that. And they want to go home at night.
Absolutely.
And that's what they want to do.
Common Sense Solutions by Mike Santola.
Right. He does it well. Congratulations on all of the, on all of your, kind of branching out in Macedon. And of course you have the All-Star Tactical that's right on Ridgeway, and then the new Gates location. When is that going to be done?
I was hoping we were trying to have a party for it, but we're going to probably have to push it back to the fall, but I'm hoping to be kind of up and running by end of August.
What kind of party?
We were going to do a luau
party.
Actually,
a luau with assault weapons.
I like a party. So
bikinis and assault weapons.
Listen,
that's my kind of party.
We're actually building a private training firearms range there. We have enough room, and
that's exciting.
And we've spoken both to the town supervisor and the chief of police, and they're both on board. But we would open it up via RFID, access card to law enforcement to train.
Why didn't you try to do something like this in Brighton or Pittsford?
Well, I grew up in Brighton, so they probably would remember me, and it would be a bad idea.
Among other reasons.
Tell the guys, during the riots last year, a year ago, right? You immediately had to go down to your shop, but it was, you had to bring everyone in, right? In order to protect your shop.
When we saw it happening, at least the first time, we just asked people to come hang out with us and just make sure, show a presence. But the scariest time was one of them when I started getting screenshots sent to me from people. It was people who were live streaming the riot going on downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the comments came through and it said, "Let's hit All-Star Tactical."
Wow.
And so that night we probably had 15 people, and I was like handing out machine guns like candy, and everybody in full kit. And we just hung out and cooked food. So it ended up being
in the parking lot, right? Yeah.
And it ended up being a fun, quiet night.
And you guys didn't go around shooting each other at the end of the night.
No,
I don't get it.
They actually did break into the liquor store a mile down the road.
Yeah.
And one of my friends who has a Facebook account that doesn't match his name and blah blah blah. But so he found the person that said, "Let's hit All-Star Tactical." He messaged him and said, "Hey, I heard the plan is to hit All-Star Tactical tonight."
Oh wow.
And the guy had said, "No, we drove by and there's like 30 dudes standing out front."
They actually drove by.
Yeah.
Because the idea was if no one's there, then
they were
it's
going to break in a free for all. So
wow.
I received a call the next morning from Chief Phelan at the time because he was chief last year.
Chief, yeah.
Yep. So thanking me. And he's like, "I just wanted to thank you because you were one thing we did not have to worry about that night."
Right.
Typically the officers will the overnight guys will eat their dinner in our parking lot.
Right.
Because it's quiet, and why not show presence that this is not a place to break into?
My daughter he hired my daughter, actually.
I remember seeing the ceremony. So
Yeah.
he's a really good dude. I still keep in contact with him.
Yeah, he is a great dude. What do you and your wife do for fun when you're not working or dancing with the dance studio?
Well, she's always dancing and posting pictures of her and her little ballerina stuff.
I
And,
know. It's like yin and yang. I love the two of them.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And, I'm actually trying to get my private pilot license just because it seems fun.
Sweet.
You like the guy?
Guns, planes.
It seems fun.
Tattoos. What else could you ask for?
I know. And he's a Scorpio. When's your birthday?
November 8th.
November 8th. There you go.
Quick question. You sell a shotgun to somebody
Mm-hmm.
and a box of ammo. Can they lawfully drive that home in their vehicle together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no laws against a new box of ammo. So typically, to follow the law to the T, you put them in two separate compartments of your vehicle. One, you don't put the gun in the trunk, ammo in your seat next to you, because it is penal law, but it's actually stems back to a DEC law for poaching. When they say you can't have a loaded rifle in your car, and that's a poaching thing. Really, the only reason was because people would load their rifles, load their shotguns, and go pull up and shoot a deer. It has nothing to do with drive-bys or
Gun
anything
violence,
like that.
per se.
Right, exactly.
Because again, the drive-by guy, of course, is going to put that ammo in the gun and fire the thing.
Right. The drive-by guy doesn't care that there's a law
Exactly.
telling you not to shoot deer from your window.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
If anyone has a time, there's an article in the Democrat and Chronicle, and I think I wrote to you that it's by Brian Sharp.
Cost money. I didn't want to do it.
And, basically it suggests that all the violence that is happening is due to the pandemic. But people have to be smart enough to know that this is a lie, right? I mean, you have to be able to kind of, shovel your way past the bullshit and know that whatever they're feeding you in the media is a lie.
Yeah, Brian.
That the violence isn't, he wrote the article with someone else, but, the DNC takes a firm line. The media on television has they do whatever they do. But you have to be able to look at this and go, okay, we know that's a lie. That the violence isn't caused by the pandemic, right? People have to be smart. So you have to educate yourself. And you have to talk to.
They say the pandemic caused it.
I know.
That makes no sense.
It's just like the Steuben County example. Then why didn't it cause violence in other communities?
I mean, honestly, I think our first spike in business in March of last year was the toilet paper thing.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not even kidding you.
Right.
Because if I knew that I wasn't going to be able to wipe my ass, I'd go buy some guns too.
Perfect. All right. Should I admit this on the record then? Because
I don't know what you're going to admit on the record. How can I answer that question?
Right. Solid segue from the
Mr. Hummel,
I can't help but not admit this.
Did you talk to your attorney first, Mr. Hummel?
I can't help but not admit this right after what Mike just said. And that is that's exactly what my household did. I never owned a gun in my life until last March. My wife called me up, told me that she had just gone to Wegmans. The place was a shit show. And then I needed to go get a shotgun immediately. and I being who I am, who's been
okay. Mike says it's okay.
I've been preaching from the pulpit for years and years and years about the Second Amendment, and I've defended and represented clients on Second Amendment constitutional grounds.
Of course.
And yet here I am unarmed.
That's okay.
As there's no toilet paper in the store.
That's okay.
So my wife made me do it.
All I could say is that
I did it.
It's about time, and I'm glad. That's what I tell everybody.
Now I own two.
I'd say at least 60 to 70% of our customers in 2020 were brand new gun owners. People not my usual customers.
Yep.
The guys that always see me and buy stuff, they were ready.
They were stocked.
They were ready 2 years ago.
They're ready.
They're preppers.
And it's unfortunate that I have to. I've had really well-known people, business owners in the area, call me who know me through my father, who owned a bunch of Abbott's ice creams, and when I was young, and knew people who knew people who knew people were trying to get a hold of me, and I feel bad saying you're really 6 months too late because
shit out of luck.
I got 15 guns in this morning and they were gone in an hour. Now's not the time to be prepared.
I was the guy calling you almost daily, checking in to see if there was any ammo in stock.
Yeah, and
you guys would answer the phone and graciously tell me no, and check back tomorrow. And on your Facebook page, you guys would actively keep your Facebook page.
That we
up
still
to date.
have to do that, and unfortunately, we don't know what we get until it shows up.
Yeah,
and it's still that way. I think probably for another 6 months, depending on how crazy Biden wants to get.
Think the violence is going to get any better with Cuomo cracking down with the emergency disaster preparedness?
Nope. You know, I was reading this tweet about all of it, and then it says like after that, where is it? It was funny. No. It was Cuomo says the state will work to connect at-risk youth with jobs in hopes that they'll stick with that instead of turning to crime. And that was the comment I made earlier. It's like, well, I could go steal these drugs and be this gangbanger that all the rap video says are cool, or I could go get a job cutting lawns.
Yeah. How about
which would you choose? I mean, I was a kid once. I didn't want a job. I would rather goof off with my friends.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who wouldn't?
And shoot people.
I will tell you,
I didn't shoot anybody in Brighton though.
There's a guy named Derek that just texted me that says that tattoo guy is scary.
I know that.
You know that guy? You know that guy?
He's a pussycat.
Tell him to get back to work.
Yeah. It has been great having you on Kimberly's
awesome.
Revolution.
Thanks,
here on the
Mike.
We the People podcast network. I know that your time is valuable, and I'm glad you came out and
I'm
hung
happy
out
to be
with
here.
us. And
I'll come out anytime
Thanks
you
for
guys
coming,
want.
Michael.
Yeah, when we get the range built at the new place, and you guys should do a on location. I'll get you some machine guns to shoot and have a good time.
Awesome.
That would be
all I heard was
fantastic.
luau.
I want to hold an assault weapon in my hands.
You can do that.
I do have a belt fed 1919 from came from Israel that you could shoot.
Get out.
I'll shoot
Do
my
you
eye
really? Shoot your eye out.
Can't.
Kid.
It's too long for you to do that.
It'll just blow my whole head off,
Right.
won't it?
All right, that is going to do it for our show today. We thank Mike Santola, All-Star Tactical,
Thank
and
you.
congratulate him on his business expanding regardless of the rules of New York State. It's got to be tough
King
to
asshole.
climb that mountain, and he has been able to do it professionally and very humbly as well. And we just appreciate having you on. Of course, for Chad Hummel and Just Tom and myself and Austin here in the studio, we thank everyone for listening. And as always, Tom says,
I just want to tell Jose Pio that we do have
the umbrella.
the mayor-elect Malik Evans umbrella here.
Ella.
So we have solved the umbrella caper.
Good.
And I'm going out in handcuffs.
Yeah, you are.
And God bless. Be kind to others.
Rejuvenate, restore, refresh, and heal. At Fantuzzo Acupuncture, we seek to help achieve effective health and wellness in an elegant spa-like atmosphere. Fantuzzo Acupuncture specializes in traditional acupuncture, cosmetic anti-aging acupuncture, acupressure, cupping, CBD topical creams, and more. Approach healthcare holistically. Visit FantuzzoAcupuncture.com to book online today. FantuzzoAcupuncture.com.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.